This video will show you how to replace the high beam and directional switch on a Ford Transit-250. This will be mounted to your steering column. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. Now to gain access to that switch, it's going to be located inside of the steering column behind these plastic panels. So we have to dislodge them. To do that, I have the steering wheel turned a quarter turn so I can gain access in this area. Now before we go too much further with that, the next thing I'm going to do is lower my steering column. Now if I was to reach under here, I can find that there's a small lever that we can pull down. We'll lower this down. Now I'm just going to lock it in. So now we can gain access to that area that I had mentioned we turned the steering wheel for. This is going to be on either side of the steering column and the process will be the same. We want to press in on this locking tab. Once you have it pressed in, we want to gently start prying these two areas apart. For this, I'm just using a couple small pocket screwdrivers. You can use a trim tool or even a flat blade screwdriver if necessary. There we are. This side is separated. I'm going over to the other side and I'm going to repeat this exact same process. You may find that you have to turn the steering wheel a half turn so this open area is in the proper placement. So now this can move around quite a bit, but I want to actually dislodge this completely. Now this does have a panel that makes its way in and behind here, so we're going to start dislodging this as well. We can continue on with our flat blade screwdriver. I'm just going to make my way in between this area and we'll carefully start prying it out and away. That's one side, same thing on the other side there. We should be able to take hold of this panel and we're going to lift it up and out of position. Now just a quick inspection of this and we'll set it aside. We'll tilt this up and now we can remove the knee panel across the front here. For that, should be fairly simple. Just take hold of it and pull it out of place. Now there are some locking tabs on this. We can see them along the inboard side. Just a quick inspection and we can set this aside. Now as we make our way underneath the steering column, we're going to start removing the lower panel as well. You're going to find that you have two T20 Torx screws, one here and one inside of this port. Let's start out here. There's that mounting bolt. Now inside of here is our next mounting bolt. This one's a little bit further in. Same tool. There's that next mounting bolt. With the hardware out of there, go ahead and take hold of this cover. We're going to carefully pull it out of place. Now that we have the steering column covers out of the way, we can start removing our switch from the steering column itself. Now this is held in place with two mounting bolts and it also has two locking tabs. We'll start with the bolts first. Looking right where my screwdriver is, we have a T8 Torx screw. It's very small. Directly above it, you're going to find that you have a second T8 Torx screw. Let's go ahead and remove the pair. So we'll start down here at the lower screw. As I mentioned, these are very small. Let's try not to lose them. Up to the next. Both of those look the same. You do not need to worry about mixing them up. As far as the two locking tabs, there's one right here. The second one's just above it. Now all I do for these is I squeeze them in towards the center. We can take hold of the lever, pull it out and away. There it is, friend. Now prior to installation of our part, let's make sure we clean and inspect the mounting area here. For this I'm only using a clean rag, no detergents. We don't want to cause any damage. Just a quick wipe, make sure there's no miscellaneous debris. Okay, let's get ready to install that high beam directional switch. We'll get this in position, aligning it with the steering column port. Press it in until you hear an audible click from each one of those locking tabs. Give it a quick wiggle to double check to make sure those are seated, and we'll continue on to our two T8 Torx screws next. For each of these screws, we're going to start them in. After I have them both started in, we can snug them up. Let's get that top screw started in. They're both started, let's snug them up. Double check to make sure that's secured in place. One last quick inspection in this area and we can reinstall our plastic panel. I'm starting with the lower panel first. We need to make sure it aligns with the ignition lock cylinder. There we are. So I have this in place. We'll continue on to our 2 mounting bolts, one in this port, one over there. I like to start them both in before tightening either. Next mounting bolt goes in this port here. That one's snug. Let's make our way back up to the upper bolt so we can snug that as well. Now we can adjust that steering column down. We'll continue on with our plastic panel along the front here. Now as for this plastic panel, you remember that we do have several locking tabs along the inboard side. Looking at the dash, you can see exactly where all those need to line up with, and we'll tap this into position. Double check to make sure that's secured in place. Now it's time for the upper panel here. Now as far as this panel is concerned, we're going to start with the area that goes up against the dash, closest to the cluster. We're lining it up. We'll just press it in. Do the same on both sides. Just double check to make sure it's secured. Now we can take this upper cover. We're going to start swinging this down. Now you can see that there are a couple locating tabs. It's going to be the same on each side. Also, on each side, you have the locking tab that we had to dislodge. Typically for this, once it's aligned, just squeeze it together and then just make sure it looks like it's completely seated on both sides. There we go. Let's do the same on the other side. Perfectly seated. Okay friend, we finished our installation. Now the next thing you want to do is put the key in the on position and test the functionality. Aside from that, thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.